Hi, my name is Mark Ryan. In this video, I'm going to explain how I tried and didn't really succeed in training GPT-3 to navigate the London Underground system. London's underground system is complex, so I think it'll provide a good challenge to GPT-3 to see if it's capable of dealing with a spatial problem. I want to give GPT-3 two stations in the system and see if it can come back with a description of how to get from the first station to the second station. Here are some examples of prompts that I fed to GPT-3. These prompts are trying to get GPT-3 to come back with a description of how to get from one station to another. At the top are examples of prompts of trips that are all along the same line. The question states what I'd expect to see in the command line prompt, and the answer is what I'd expect to get back from GPT-3. Lower down, you see some examples of trips that go from one line to another. That is multi-line trips. We'll see a little bit later how those trips worked out. For this exercise, I created a simple harness in Python that would allow me to create a GPT object and then read in the examples and also read in test cases to exercise GPT. This is the heart of the harness. What's happening is a GPT object is being created with parameters that I read in from a config file. Then I read in a CSV file that contains examples that I showed earlier into a data frame, and then I go through the data frame row by row, adding examples to GPT for each of the examples in the data frame. Here's the config file for the harness. At the top are the parameters that are needed to create the GPT object within the harness. Note the GPT key has been blanked out here. You have to provide your own to actually use this harness. At the bottom are the files that are read in. The first file is the file that contains the prompts that are used by GPT-3 to nudge it. And the second file contains tests to exercise GPT-3 to see how it does with finding paths through the London Underground. Okay, to start with, we're going to exercise the harness interactively. That is, we're going to enter test cases from the command line and see how it behaves. So we'll start it up. So come back and say, what trip do you want to take? So let's see the space here. How to get from Victoria to Earl's Court. Let's see what it says. District line from Victoria to Earl's Court. Sounds okay. How to get from Canada Water, my favorite, to Waterloo. I'm not even sure myself how to get from there between those two stations. So here you see one of the symptoms that can occur sometimes with GPT-3. It will provide more than one output. So this is just to show you how it behaves. It takes as a input either from the command line or from a test file a question on how to navigate. It begins with how to get from with the starting station to the ending station. And then GPT-3 responds with what comes after output. So now we've seen this, we're going to take a look at some more complex and extended examples. Now we're going to exercise the Python harness and invoke it from the command line. So the object's getting created. We've loaded in the examples and now it's being tested. And it looks like it got the first example wrong. That one's correct. That one's correct. Another one correct. Another one correct. So it's doing fairly well on these simple ones. Oop, got that one wrong. Correct. 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 Oh, wrong line on that one. Bakerloo didn't like that one. Correct. It will not like Hammersmith and City. Oh, that was okay. Waterloo and City does not like that one. So it got about 65% of the questions correct. And this is for simple examples of going between stations on the same line. Okay, We've done an interactive test where we've entered the trips we want to take from the command line. We've done a test of simple trips, that is trips where both stations are on the same line, using a test file. And now we're going to use a different test file. And in this test file, there are a number of trips that begin on one line and go to the other. So let's see how GPT-3 does navigation between lines on the London Underground. Oh, not bad, not bad. It got that one correct. It got that one correct as well. Uh-oh, not so good. And let's see about this one. Nope, didn't make it all the way through. What about this one? Nope. This is a simple one-line trip. And finally, didn't get that one correct. So it looks like it got maybe 1.5 out of 7 correct on this. And this goes to show maybe there just isn't enough signal in the training corpus for GPT-3 to be able to allow it to navigate between lines on the London Underground. Or it may be that I need to work on the prompt engineering and craft the prompts a little bit more carefully. I'll continue to play around with this. But so far what we've seen is GPT-3 does a decent job navigating London Underground as long as the trip is from one station to another station on the same line. But it kind of falls over when you need to go between lines. And I haven't even tested trips that are even more complex than that involve more than 2 lines. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video about how GPT-3 is able or not able to navigate through the London Underground. Thanks for watching.